La 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 la. Do you want to have a spooky paranormal discussion with us? Come join us. Warning, this show is for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed are theories, folklore, historical, fantastical, and speculation, and not to be taken as pure fact. Viewer discretion is advised. Melanie Lightbeam and the Shamrock Pixie join forces together to bring you paranormal, strange, unusual, scary, spooky, or just overall unbelievable stories and discussions. Viewer discretion is advised. This is an open talk show discussing all things paranormal. We encourage audience participation. So sit back, grab some popcorn, share out to your friends. Together, we can explore the paranormal. Don't forget, subscribe to everyone, hit that like button, share out, or for super chats as a thank you. Have fun and enjoy. Welcome to the show. Enjoy the show.
I'm telling you,
into it.
that gets me each and every time. I laugh at myself every time I see that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thursday Night's Paranormal. We've got Des, the Shamrock Pixie, in the house. There's myself.
Ooh.
I have to apologize at first for technical difficulties. If you notice, I now have a different background. I was trying to update my computer. My computer wouldn't work. So why not? Different background. The only thing is I can't get all fancy and everything with the lights like I can. I mean, I have the lights. I could get it later on, but it's too bright for the lights. It's not dark enough here.
If it wasn't so gray outside, it'd be pretty light outside too. I'm glad I'm in the basement. I'm in the basement, so I can put like a blanket or something up here, but
yeah, you make it so nice and spooky. It's like right now we're like night and day, and which I'll tell you what the creepy thing is. This is something that's creepy that happens every morning. I wake up early, and my mom, before she goes to work, she'll call me and we'll chat. What's interesting is she sits in the kitchen, and the kitchen window has this bright, sunny window, and you see the sun, the birds, and everything. And at the exact same time, I'm in my bedroom, and my bedroom window, which is right behind me when I talk, is completely dark and black. Like, that's the difference time zone when we talk every morning, how like night and day is. And it's only like a 1 hour difference in time zones, which is so weird.
Crazy. And then we just had like meetings time too.
Yeah, I feel like there's something wrong with like the tilt of the earth or Earth's axis or something weird like that, simply because there's that much of a darkness and light. It's pitch black by me. It's bright and sunny by her. And yeah. It's weird.
And it's just going to get weirder for the rest of the summer.
Well, I know I shared this out, and I know with the time change and everything like that, I hope that we didn't lose people being we started a little late. But you know something? We'll blabber, we'll talk, we'll see if anybody shows up. It could be just it has been the time change, and it's been throwing people off completely.
Me included.
Well, I do want to share something because today is a special day. It's actually multiple special days. So if anybody saw my post, it is my cute little Hope's 8th birthday. And in fact, you know something? Here, I'm just going to show you because here I am. She has been actually curled up sitting next to me the entire time. So I'm going to put her back there. But she's literally sitting next to me in the chair. I pulled the chair up.
That's so
She's
funny.
so happy to be there. It is her 8th birthday today. I got her 8 years ago on this day.
Wow, so that's awesome.
I was very happy about that. And announcement number 2 for your mathematical geniuses or geeky people, Happy Pi Day. And that's Pi, P-I. However, you do celebrate it by having Pi, P-I-E. So that's how you celebrate Pi Day, is by having pie. So hopefully everybody is enjoying at least one slice of pie for Pi Day.
Jasmine made donuts.
She made donuts. Close enough. You know what a donut is? A donut is a pie with a hole in it.
Well, she made the donut holes, I should say. She made donut holes. So,
And a donut hole is the hole that they poked out of the donut in order.
and let me tell you, Dunkers has the best.
Dunkin' Donuts? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Dunkin' Donuts.
But then again, okay, I do have to say one thing. They make the best donut holes, but here in Texas, they don't have like bagel shops. They don't have delis or anything like that. Everything is either breakfast burritos or donut shops. And I do have to say their fresh made donuts are so much better than Dunkin' Donuts. But they can't get the donut holes right. I don't know why they can't get the donut holes right. They make the donuts amazing, but when you try to have their donut holes are disgusting.
Maybe they'll let them sit in the grease too long.
I have no idea. Who knows? And then I'm not supposed to say this, but I will say it in a clean way. I'm going to say it. I'll say it in a clean way. How about this? Today is March 14th. Today is the protest of Valentine's Day. So for those of you who like to protest Valentine's Day, enjoy today. Because if you enjoy today, you would get a full dinner. You would get steak, you would get your pie, and you would get something else. Look it up. You can see what March 14th is. Des is completely embarrassed. She didn't want me to say it, but you know something?
No, it wasn't. I just thought it was funny. I was like, don't tell Tommy.
He missed out. That's Des, the night is not over yet.
It is for me. I'm going to bed after this.
I'm done. That's it. No, I'm done. So today happens to be a 2-part special. We're doing this as a 2-part special because obviously ghosts and spirits is such a broad topic.
Yeah.
It really is. We could go in any direction. In fact, once the audience gets in.
We have 4. Well, 3, because I'm on 2, and I'm sure you. So we have 2.
Direction you want to take it in. But what we wanted to do was this week we wanted to have an overall summary of ghosts and spirits, as well as share with you some of our personal experiences. And then next week we wanted to turn the show over to you guys, where we wanted to open up the doors if anybody wants to talk about their own experiences. And even if you want, you could come in, we can invite you on, and that's for next week. So that's why we wanted to do this as a 2-part special, because everybody is like, ghosts, ghosts, ghosts. Well, we're finally doing ghosts. Hello, Susanna. Welcome to the show.
Hello. I waved.
Is in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, Ma.
We had some technical difficulties, so we started just a few more minutes late, but that's okay. We're here. And Beth is in the house. We have people coming in. That's great. Come on in, say hello. We need to drive up the thing. Share it out. You've got that little button that says share. Just press it out. Share it out to your social media page and get other people to come in, because this is going to be Scoopy. It's a Scoopy? No, it's a spooky topic. What am I saying? Scoopy? I'm thinking Scooby Dooby Doo. Spooky, not Scoopy.
It's all good. It's all good. I probably would have said something completely opposite.
I'm sorry. It's been one of those days.
It's been a good day, though. For the most part, it has been a very good day.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the weather.
I spent the day cleaning. I got a lot done by cleaning. Okay, Scoopy. Scoopy.
I have a feeling that's going to be your new nickname for a little bit.
Why is it I always come up with the weird nicknames? People give me the weirdest nicknames, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't. I've had some crazy nicknames, but we're not going to say those live on YouTube.
Uh-oh. No, actually, the one name that I've always had, and this name I had since I was 16 years old, has been Light. Light has always been my nickname, because people say I'm the type of person that when I come into the room, I'm the spark that lights up the room. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I've always had the name Light.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Couple announcements, if I may. Okay.
Take her away.
2 announcements. Des does a show on Tuesdays.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
You're switching it to
Switch to
Tuesdays? Okay. So
We did.
Tuesdays, she does a mental health show. I was there the other day, and it was absolutely wonderful. So I may be on some more and more and more, but if not, she's doing mental health on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, and Suzanne is in the chat, we're going to be starting a chit chat thing where we're just going to be talking about anything. Anything and everything that's on our minds. So that is going to be Wednesdays. And Thursdays, we're back with Des for the paranormal hour, which, like I said, next week is going to be once again part 2 to Ghosts and Spirits. But this time we're bringing it on your end. We want to hear your scary stories and your experiences and what's been going on in your world.
Exactly. I did look up, I have a definition.
Okay, go for it.
Ghosts. So should we get into it? Or?
Let's get right into it. Yeah, we got people in the background. Oh, she's laughing at me. What did I clean? I cleaned the house. We won't go there. I cleaned the house. I was motivated today. All right, go ahead. What's the definition
motivated
of ghost?
Okay, so ghost. It is an apparition. What was that?
That's the train. Remember, I said I'm right next to a train yard.
Oh, that was perfect timing.
It was perfect timing. I'm sorry. Oh my god.
Yay, train. Ours goes on, like, we live by a train too. And ours, middle of the night, like clockwork, every night. And we've been here going on 10 years, about 10 years in this house. And it used to be quiet. But then about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they tore down our beautiful, well, kind of forest and built the fire department, which I'm happy about. But yeah, now we hear the train a lot louder. And we have the what?
I was going to say, we are the end of the line. So what happens is the train dumps off all the canisters, and there's like a lumber yard right next to it. So if the train ever stops, you cannot cross over to the main highway. You have to go all the way around. And it's really bad because it cuts off like all the blocks. There's no way to get to the main highway.
Oh boy.
So it's one of those crazy things because the train will stop there for like, I don't know, like 12 hours. It's not like it just dumps it off. They got to empty out each and every canister.
Yeah. So we live right next to where they connect and disconnect. And I know what it's called. I just can't think of it all.
The rail yard? The rail yard.
Yeah. So they're constantly connecting and disconnecting the train cars. Sometimes it sounds like something has blown up because they hit so hard together. It's crazy.
And hello, Jocelyn. Welcome to the show. Jocelyn,
hello.
If you could do me a little favor, Jocelyn, send me an email with your information, your PayPal, because I realize I don't have your email. So I just put it in the chat. If you could send me an email right over there, I appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to interrupt.
You don't have to be sorry about it. It's all good. It's all good. I know as soon as we saw her in chat, I knew what you had to do. So no biggie. No biggie. All right. So
Ghost. Yeah.
A ghost is an apparition of a dead person, which is believed to appear or become manifested to the living, typically as a nebulous image. It's NEBULOUS, image.
Nepalus, I guess. Yeah, NEP. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure, and I know I probably wasn't saying it correct, but that is what a ghost is. Now, here's a fun fact. In folklore, a ghost is the soul or spirit of a deceased person or non-human animal that is believed to be able to appear to the living. In ghost lore, Descriptions of ghosts vary widely, from an invisible presence to a translucent or barely visible wisp shapes to realistic lifelike forms. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Now, see, I'm going to tackle the spirits because spirits is slightly different. Now, a lot of times they use ghosts and spirits interchangeably because they could be the same thing. It could be an apparition of a dead person. The only difference is with spirits, they are known to cross over the astral plane, where ghosts tend to stay in the living realm. And most of the time, ghosts don't realize that they're even dead.
Mm-hmm.
A spirit, on the other hand, will pass through the living, the astral, beyond the light. Depending on what you believe in, there's different dimensions that a spirit could go through. Also, it is said that, and this is another belief, that with ghosts, you don't necessarily interact with them. Ghosts are more like it's an image, or they don't necessarily
Residual.
interact. I'm sorry?
Residual.
Residual, thank you.
You have
Yeah, it's an
intelligent
image.
haunts, and then you have residual haunts. Residual haunts is where it's just they're in a loop. They have no idea, who you are. They don't see you. They don't interact with you. It's just like an impression that's left. An essence, I guess you could say. And so, yeah, that's, and then another see, I'm doing it too. It's not just you, Mel. It's me too. Okay, so another definition of a ghost is the soul of a deceased person. The soul of a deceased person thought of as living in an unseen world or as appearing to living people.
And whereas spirits will interact with you, and not only will spirits interact with you, they could also possess you. Whereas a ghost will just be an image, an entity, an afterthought, a residual. They don't necessarily go into you and try to possess you. Spirits will actually possess you and do crazy things. Now we have a couple of first thing Susanna says, hold on, don't go any further. Let's turn off all the lights and get all spooky. See, I should turn off the lights, but I don't know. Can I turn off the light here? Does that make it any better? Ooh. I don't know if that makes it any better. Oh, you did it a couple of days ago? Okay, I'll look for it, Jocelyn. I wanted to make sure because I didn't see it. I appreciate that. You got to save this story for next week if you're available. But yes, Valerie used to live in a haunted house where no animal would stay, and the dog ended up hanging himself at the house.
Ooh.
Yes,
Ooh.
the dog killed him. Well, wait. We don't know if the dog hung himself or if something hung the dog and left it there. That's another story. And what did she say? Turn out the lights!
She said turn on lights.
Oh, turn on the lights? You don't like the way that looks? It brings my... Look at it. It makes my eyes all weird. You guys like it better with the light on? There. Is that better? Turn light on. Spooky! Anyway, I will be honest. I have had personal experiences with ghosts. I've had personal experiences with spirits. And when it comes to spirits, I try not to talk about spirits because I've seen what really demonic things can happen, and it scares the hell out of me. So... Go ahead. I know you want to say
something. Give me 1 second. Because I found the definition and I should have bookmarked it. All right. So, spirits and ghosts are the nice ones. Demonic is the ones where they're evil and they like to mimic or take on characteristics and try to make you believe that they're nice.
Right.
And they're really not. And they've never been, so for it to be a form of demonic, so demonic, they've never been alive.
Mm-hmm.
They've just never been alive. It's not, they're just.
And
Not
that's why spirits can get confusing, because
Mhm.
there are spirits that are entities, there are spirits that are the dead.
Mhm.
But when you look at different I mean, okay, look at voodoo and hoodoo. They worship a lot of spirits, but it is a combination of Catholicism mixed with tribal, and depending on what location, whether it's the Caribbean, the Cuban, Haitian, even Louisiana type voodoo, each, or even going back to Africa,
Mhm.
they believe in very specific spirits that they will give a tribute to, that they will pray to, that they will light a candle to. And I mean, some of this stuff is really, really scary. And even something like the Ouija board, they don't call a Ouija board a ghost board, they call it a spirit board, because you're
Yep.
not necessarily talking to ghosts, although people get manipulated to think, oh, I am talking to a dead person. No, you're actually talking to a spirit. They are spirit boards. So it may not necessarily be the friendly spirits that you call upon when you use that type of.
Right. And like so with a spirit, the difference between it, like even with you were talking about, or you had said about them possessing you.
Okay.
So with ghosts and spirits, um, good spirits, they just attach themselves to you. They don't go into your body. They just attach themselves to you. Where with, be it a good or even a bad, you can have attachments with spirits. That's what that is. They don't jump in your body. However, demonic entities will. And that's where like demons and stuff like that come into play. So they will, those will definitely possess you, do some weird crap. But just so you guys know that, I just had like some fly across my face. I know our house is haunted.
It's sending you a message. I get creeped out when I start hearing things, seeing things, feeling things. It's like, okay, I got to tell you this story. This is my previous residence, which I'm so glad they knocked it down. This was when I was living in Stephenville. There was something wrong with one specific wall. I'm telling you, this wall drove me crazy. And part of me thinks, I mean, I'm going to go as far as to say, part of me feels like somebody committed suicide or got killed because they got slammed against the wall somehow. So whether it was, oh, I can't use the word, I'm sorry, unalived. Somehow they got unalived by this wall. And it freaked me out because I used to see things in this wall. And since I moved here, I don't see that stuff anymore. So it's like whatever was wrong, there was this one wall that just was weird. Oh, Valerie says you sound like her ex-boss. I know her ex-boss because
Like
her
my
ex-boss
ex-boss. Yeah. I was like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
At least I think we're talking about the same ex-boss.
Uh-oh. Whoa, boy.
I would say, because at one point she was my boss too, and
oh no, evil. Yeah. Yeah, you so animals are very good judge of character on people.
absolutely.
And cats have been known to be like the watchers of the underworld. Like they are, evil is scared of cats, supposedly. Okay. Mel's got cats. I have a cat. I grew up with cats. And so, yeah, your animal will tell you if something is around.
Oh yeah.
Like, no joke. No joke. I know our house is haunted by an old lady and a little girl. I've seen both of them.
Are they friendly or are they?
They keep to themselves.
So they don't.
But the old woman is a pervert.
So there would be ghosts as opposed to spirits, or would you classify them as spirits?
I'm thinking that they're spirits.
Okay.
I do. Because okay, so like with the old lady, we used to have our bedroom where uh, Tommy has his office now, and we have French doors with like the frosted glass in them, and um, we'd change to get ready for bed, and I would just happen to look over, and our door would be open, and I would see this lady's face like this peeping at us, and I'm like, but by the time Tommy would look, he wouldn't see anything. Um, the little girl, um, she, I want to say, she's got to be like 7 or 8, and she's in a white dress, the typical white dress. However, she actually like runs, runs around corners.
Now,
So go ahead.
I was going to ask, do they actually talk to you, or you just see them?
I just see them.
Just see them.
Yeah, there's no chatting with them. Other than me telling them stop, telling the old lady, stop it. That's not okay.
Yeah, because I've personally noticed that with ghosts, it's almost as if they don't talk to you. It's like you can't hear them. You can't necessarily, you'll see them, but there's no verbal or interaction. Whereas spirits will actually talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to go places that are haunted because, it's like
You sound crazy. I'm sorry. Like,
we do, but it is what it is. This is, people either love us or not, but that's okay. We're allowed to be a little crazy. And then we've had episode or incidences in our house where Jasmine would be at like my parents' house for the weekend. And I would get up to go to the bathroom and I'd see a little girl run around. So the way our kitchen is our stairs are right here. You walk into the kitchen, our stairs are over here. And it would be like the little girl would run across, like you just see her running around to go up the stairs. And I'd be like, Jaslyn, get back to bed. And then, yeah, it wasn't Jaslyn because Jaslyn's at Grandma and Grandpa's, We've had where when we had our room still there, we had the doors closed. The kids were sleeping in the living room. They were going to watch a movie. And then literally, so our doors were closed and literally it looked like a big old beach ball hit our door like hard. And you could see the silhouette of it. And we thought, all right, the kids are messing around. So I get up and I go to yell at them. They're both out cold.
And there was no actual physical ball, right?
There was no ball. Absolutely no ball. I'm like, I looked at Tommy and said, you cannot debunk that. Because he's the debunker. He will go and he will find logical reasons why things happen. That there was just no way. We didn't have a big beach ball. There was no ball, even a small ball. It was nowhere. But it hit, and it hit hard, and it made both me and Tommy jump because we were watching TV. And when I got up to yell at the kids for it, stop throwing stuff in my living room, I didn't want anything broken. They were both out cold. And that's just one of many different things that have happened in this house.
I've had scary stories with my former job. Where I worked, the building was actually built on an old graveyard. I didn't know that until after the fact. I mean, somebody told me that after, and I'm like, okay, now this makes so much sense as to why all the strange thing was going on. And I mean, I've almost had like a weird experience almost every day in that place. And I mean, some of the stories that really stand out is I used to work alone. I mean, you're not supposed to work alone in the building, but it was that kind of store where I worked alone. And I would go in at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's pitch black. And they had the lights where the lights only go on if there's movement in the building. Right. And I can't tell you how many times I went to work and all the lights are on. And I'm thinking to myself, they're at it again. That's all I can say is like, they're at it again. And there would be times when I walk in and I would literally say out loud, I would like turn the alarm off, like set the alarm off and stuff like that. And I'd be like, okay, I'm here. You guys can calm down. I'm not, you could still play, do it. And weird stuff would happen, like such as there's like in the toy aisle, we had the ball pin. The balls would come out and start bouncing down the aisles. That freaked me out. That just totally freaked me out. It would just like bounce down the aisles. Or we had a display in the food section of Monster drinks, which you know how they do that big display where they put all the cans and stuff like that. That display is almost impossible to fall down. And what happened was I felt a big whoosh and the entire display fell down with the cans rolling down the aisles. And I'm like, this is weird. And I think the scariest moment, hello, Chris. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello.
This is a true story, and I have it on camera, which I even went back to look at. And I had the whole instance with the cans falling. I had it all on camera. And I'm like, you see all the cans just fall, but there was nothing there. So the answer is this. We would open up at 8 o'clock in the morning. And when I open up the door, I would have to unlock the door and then go outside, and I would unlock the ice machine so that people could grab the ice. And there was a water machine that I would have to unlock and do all that. So I go outside the door, and there literally is this old man in overalls staring at me. And I say to him, I says, "Good morning, sir. We're open." And I point to the door. I said, "You could just go on in. We're open. I'll be right there." And I turn around and I start walking to the ice so I can unlock it. And I hear his footsteps following behind me. But then I turned around to be like, "Did you need something, sir?" He disappeared completely, like gone, vanished. And that freaked me out so much. So, of course, I have to go back to the film and see what the hell, where did this guy disappear to? Because he literally vanished out of thin air. And this is no joke. You see me walk outside. You see me say hello with the action, talking to somebody, and you see me walk to the ice machine and turn around like, what the hell's going on? But there was never anybody there to begin with. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Oh, Chris, you've never met Shamrock Pixie? She says, "Hi, Pixie. Nice to meet you."
It's nice to meet them, too. I put it in chat. You were talking. I don't want to interrupt, so I just put it in chat.
I'm a little behind on the chat. I'm looking at it right now. Oh, I'm telling you, Chris, we're doing this week where we're going to give our personal opinions. And next week, we're turning the show over to you guys. So if you guys have any stories or anything you want to share, we definitely want to hear it.
Yeah, that's paranormal.
Because I know Des and I could go all night with various stories. I've got a ton of them. She's got a ton of them. So if you like to hear personal stories, that's what we're sharing it. Oh, tell about the phone. This happened at work as well. Like I said, the place.
Same building?
Yeah. I take my phone. This is no joke. I put the phone on the shelf. So it's on the shelf. Okay. And I swear the phone came off the shelf and was floating. And then it just dropped to the floor.
Did it break?
No, it didn't break. It did not break. But it was floating. Like, I literally saw it floating. And it just dropped to the floor. And I'm like,
wow. That's wild.
Oh, I got to tell one more thing. You got to tell some.
Okay.
Because this is all in the same place. It wasn't like it's a different place. So then we're obviously in a store. I'm by myself. And I remember I always worked by myself. I'm not going to say where I worked, but let's just say it was a big box company, but I was all by myself. So just think of one of those big box stores that pretty much the manager is all by themselves. Okay. So now that's all I have to say. So now I'm at the store, and this is no joke. Customer comes up to me and says, "The guy in the back told me that this was 50% off." And I looked at her and I said, "What guy?" No, it wasn't 7-Eleven. I said, "What guy?" And he says, the worker that's wearing your shirt." like the same shirt. And I says, ma'am, I am the only one in this building. Aside from that, I currently do not employ any men. So now I'm getting scared. Like, who the hell is telling people that we're having a 50% off sale? So I start walking around, and it turns out there is no guy in the building at all. Like, there was no other customer. It was just her and me in this building. And she's saying that the guy in the back
Told her it was
she was
50%
serious.
off.
It wasn't like she was lying to me. She says, "Yeah, he's stocking in the back, and he explained to me that these are 50% off." And I'm like, "There's nobody." Hi, Spirit Junkie. Welcome to the show. Chris, if you want, I will tell you privately. I never like to make announcements of publicly what former work areas I am. That's just me for like privacy and stuff like that. Plus, I don't want any what's the word, retaliation from past
Anybody.
jobs. Yeah. But I'll be gladly to tell you privately if you want to know. But I will say this place was haunted. It was beyond haunted. I have so many stories of haunted stuff that happened in this place. So, okay, Des, I want to hear a story from you. What?
I just don't want to go to that store. I'm good.
Oh,
I have stories from since I was little, I suppose. My grandfather's house was haunted. He lives in Orlando. And growing up, we had a protector. We called him the cowboy. Now, my grandfather had terrazzo floors. They're polished concrete floors. Like, I don't know exactly how to explain terrazzo other than it's concrete, but it's like polished. And
uh-oh. Somebody's
I don't know what that word is.
Those are avoidophobic. You're afraid of, you avoid it? They want to avoid, yeah. They have a phobia, so they're avoiding it.
Okay. All right. It's a new word for me, so I will try to remember that.
I think that's a made-up word, though. I think she made that up.
It's a good word, so it should be.
So it's a phobia of, like, they want me to tell what the store is so that they can avoid the store. I will tell you this, probably everybody has shopped at this store at one point because it is a chain, but the particular store is where I worked. So I guarantee you guys are never going to be there because it's in the middle of nowhere. That's all I have to say.
She said was trying to be funny. It flopped. No, it was
that's a good word, though. It is. I like that. Avoidophobic.
Right. Okay, so my grandfather's house had terrazzo floor, and when we moved in with my grandpa, I was really, really little, and we had the cowboy. You could literally hear cowboy boots walking on the terrazzo floor.
Did it have like one of those metal spurs where you hear the clink clink? Okay,
yeah,
now I don't
hear it. My grandfather had an experience once in his own home. My grandfather was a collector of pew-pews, and he had a nice collection. His door was always locked because we lived there. We were little. He didn't want anything to happen to us, so he always had his door locked. But way before we moved in, even I think before we were even born, my grandfather had an experience where my mom was trying to tell him about the cowboy. He didn't believe it. He got woke up one day. I don't know if it was middle of the night or early morning, but he woke up to the cowboy looking over him. Looked up, looked around the room.
That's creepy.
Looked down, and it was just my grandfather in the house, by the way. And looks down at my grandpa, looks around the room. Now, my grandpa always had above his bed, on his headboard, he had a holster hanging with a pew-pew in it. I mean, he lives in Orlando. I mean, he was very well safe. Well, the cowboy did it a couple different times, and my grandpa
tried to take the gun.
No, he just was looking at my grandpa, looking
Oh,
around the room at his collection. Nothing major. He just kept looking down, looking up, looking around, and he did that quite a few different times, I guess. And my grandpa was said that he was debating on if he should had enough time to grab and protect himself.
pew pew.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to find the right words because I know there's certain words you can't
yeah.
use.
We can't say pew pew is fine. So he was gonna pew pew
Yeah.
the.
Yes, because he thought somebody had broke into his house. And then he was like, I guess thinking from what he said, he was thinking, is he gonna take it and am I done? You know those weird thoughts that go in your head back and forth. Well, the cowboy, he just looked one more time, walked to my grandpa's door. My grandpa was up, had it in his hand, ready to protect himself, and he was gone. The cowboy was gone.
I always wonder what would happen if you tried to shoot a ghost or a spirit.
You shoot your wall, it'll go right through it.
Well, would there be any reaction or any like shift in like you know what I mean? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's like TV,
I know.
but I don't know. I mean, it would be kind of interesting to know, but yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't. However, my grandfather said he couldn't go back to sleep, but he looked everywhere for the cowboy.
And that was the first and only time you've seen them? Or did
That
he
was the first time he ever saw him.
but did he see him like regularly after that?
No, he heard him.
Okay.
I had to think. No, I think he said he only heard him after that. But my grandfather was looking in the crawl space, which there was no way he would have had time to get up in the crawl space. My grandfather looked in the freezer, the refrigerator. He looked everywhere. Like he could not be. All the doors were still locked. Everything was locked up. Nothing. He never heard a door. Nothing like that. He looked everywhere and just could never find him. However, when I went to Florida when I was 18 to visit my grandpa, we were staying at his house in his Florida room. It's the four seasonal room. We call them three seasonal rooms here in Wisconsin, but down there it's all four seasons, or the Florida room. And he had a bed set up in there, and my ex, yeah, the cowboy made an appearance.
So your ex saw the cowboy?
I don't know if he did. He never said he did. I just know that I got woke up to the cowboy boots and I opened my eyes and said, "Hello, cowboy, it's me." And I looked over. He was standing in the doorway,
That would
and
freak me out.
and he
That would
was
just
he bowed.
no.
You know how cowboys they tip
Yeah,
their
they
head?
did the little
Yep, he did that to me, which I grew up in the house. I grew up
yeah.
there for a couple of years, so he knew who I was. He didn't know who my ex at the time was. Um, and he mean mugged the crap out of my ex.
Oh. So
It
see,
was
he knew. They know. I mean, he
he
felt the
knew. He knew. And I tried waking him up and he opened his eyes, but I don't know if he saw him or not, the cowboy. I do know that the cowboy did not like him. And for good reason. Very good reason. And those are just two experiences that I remember off the top of my head at being at my grandpa's house. There was a little girl. My mom was telling me when I was a baby and we were in the house. I was with family, I think it was, and I'm not even a baby. I was like 2 or 3 maybe, and I was with family visiting. My mom had the night off. My mom was a very hands-on mom. It wasn't a lot of times that we were away from her. Um, she was very, very hands-on when we were younger. And she was sitting um, on the couch, and then the hallway was like the way the couch was, it was sitting up against the wall so that when you look this way, you could see the whole hallway. And and she was watching TV, and the little girl ran from what my room or her room was to my room or my room. The girl ran across the hall, the little girl, about my age at the time. And my mom yells, Destiny, get back in bed. And then all of a sudden she's like, you're not here. She's
Oops.
like, go to bed.
Like, oops.
My mom told me that. I laughed. I was
Aww.
like, oh, did she listen? Because I'm sure we didn't.
I think I have one more story from the haunted job, and then I'll go into something completely different because maybe I can get some advice. But the last story, because like I said, weird stuff happened. And there was this guy, he was approximately, I would say maybe about 25 years old, 24, 25 years old. He comes into the store, confused as anything, looking all around, and he looks at me and literally says, where the hell am I? And I looked at him and I told him where he was. And he's like confused and disoriented. And he says, how did I get here? So I says, okay, sir, do you need medical attention or something like that? Is something wrong? Because the first question I says, okay, where did you come from? Did you come from a car? Because the thing is, the store I worked at, there is no other location for a 15-mile radius. Okay? We are literally a tiny store in the middle of nowhere, and we're going, if you go 15 miles in a radius, there's absolutely nothing. This guy said that he walked here. So my question is, first of all, where the hell did he walk from? Hi, Tammy. You're only 47 minutes in, but we're sharing our personal stories, and next week we're giving it to you guys to share your personal stories. But there's nothing for 15 miles. So the first question I said is, where did you walk from? Because he said he didn't have a car, and he's like, I don't know. I really don't know how I got here. So I says, okay, sir, where do you live? And he shows me his driver's license because he was very confused. He lived 125 miles away. Like his address was 125 miles away from the store. He had no idea how he got there. He had no idea where he came from. And I even said to him, I said, sir, do you need an ambulance? Are you feeling weak? He's like, no, could you just call me a cab, please? That's all he wanted. He wanted a cab. So I called him a cab. But that freaked me out because I'm thinking, where the hell how did he get here? There's no way that he walked at least 15 miles to get to the store because there's nothing anywhere in the neighborhood.
Now, did he leave in the cab?
I'm sorry?
Did he leave in the cab?
He left in the cab. He went in the cab. He was a real person. I offered to.
I would have been like,
yeah. Oh no, I had him sit down. I said, do you want me to call an ambulance for you? Do you need help? Are you hurt? Did you hit your head? He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm just please call me a cab. And then he left. So I have no idea what happened. And it's the weirdest thing. Like,
I went back and visited those cameras to make sure he was real.
No, he was real. He actually existed. But here's the story. And I probably shouldn't even tell this story, but okay. I had a friend, husband and wife couple. Okay. They decided in it could be a time traveler. I have no idea, but it was creepy. So I have this husband and wife friend. They're a couple. And they decided to bring a third person into their fold. Okay. Not me, third person. But I was friends with them. For whatever reason, every time I saw them together, I always saw a fourth being. Like there always was a dark being with them.
Dark energy?
Dark energy, yes. Now, what made it even crazier is the guy would say that he's the bringer of death. That's what he called himself. He's like, I'm the bringer of death. Not the wife, but the girl was the spider queen. That's what she called herself. She called herself a spider queen. So you got the bringer of death, and you got the Spider Queen, and then for some reason there's this dark energy that follows them everywhere they go. And it was so weird because I would see them at like we would go to functions, events, we would go to charity events, and I would just be like, "Hi, how are you guys doing?" But for some reason, I always saw four of them, and it scared the hell out of me because there was no fourth entity. Like there was no
One
fourth.
of them had an attachment, not a nice attachment. That's for sure.
It did not feel comfortable at all. It freaked me out every time I saw them.
Spider Queen.
He's the bringer of death, and she's the Spider Queen.
They
And
watch.
I mean, who makes that announcement about themselves? Like, who declares that? Like, I mean, is that something you are proud of? That you say, I'm the bringer of death and I'm the Spider Queen.
She can keep the spiders.
Exactly. I hate spiders. I want spiders.
She can keep her spiders. She's the queen. Come call them out of my house.
Is I told a friend of mine about this experience and about other weird experiences because every time I was around them, weird stuff always happened. And my other friend happened to be a Wiccan high priestess, and she basically said to protect yourself, you need a quartz crystal, which she gave me a quartz crystal, and she says water will be your protection to block them. Which was weird because, like, when I used to go to like dinner outings, I would always put a glass of water in between them and myself, and I felt so much safer than if I took the glass and moved it away. Like if I took the glass and moved it away, it almost feels like the energy was trying to like, they were like drawing out my energy. If I put a glass of water between me and them, I felt so much better. So it was like just really weird. Like she said, water would be your protector. I don't know. No,
You're a water sign then, obviously, right?
I'm Gemini, which is air, isn't it?
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure Gemini. I could be wrong. You would think I would know what my own sign is. No, maybe I am one. No, it's Gemini's hair. Do I have to look that up? Who knows their signs?
Yep, it's air. I'm water.
Okay, I do that because I'm like, that's the air sign. So I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't understand the correlation, but would there be a correlation between if you're an air sign that water would protect air? I would have thought that they were two opposite signs. But she said to me, she said, water would be your protector in this case. So, Tammy, we hope you're enjoying these stories. We do want to hear everybody's stories next week, though, because I mean, I could go all night in stories. Actually, I think I told this story a couple of weeks ago, but for people who didn't hear it, I will tell it again. I had like an out of body experience. What was it, like 3 weeks ago? This is the scariest moment. I told Des about this. I was driving down the road. It was going really fast. There is a guy on the side of the road that all of a sudden just stares at me like direct contact and is pointing across where the divider is. And I thought that was the weirdest thing. So obviously, since he's pointing across the divider, I'm going to turn my head and look, what the hell is he pointing at? Just at that moment, when he points across to the divider, a truck, a big 18-wheeler, ends up hitting a car, which causes the car to go up into the air. What should have happened was that car should have went through the divider and should have hit me. That's what should have happened. Like if you figure out physics, I should have been hit by that car. Instead, for whatever reason, the car went up, turned, stopped in midair, and then was just gently placed down next to the divider. And then when I turned back to see that guy that pointed, like, oh my God, like how the hell did he know? It turns out the guy that was on the side of the road was the driver in that car. And that scared the hell out of me. So I don't know what type of divine intervention. I don't know if that was a glitch in the matrix. I don't know if maybe I actually did die and we both died, and then it's like a reset button. I have no idea, but that scared me. And it gave me, I mean, even talking about it now is giving me goosebumps and shivers.
Yeah.
That is a crazy, crazy story. And all I could think of was I thought he was a ghost because that's what it was. I thought he was a ghost on the side of the road pointing because every now and then I do see ghosts on the side of the road. Don't ask me why I see ghosts on the side of the road. But
But you're not the only one. There are cases where people have picked up hitchhikers thinking they needed a ride, and then they're going down the road and the person's not there that they picked up.
that was
They know
that
they
was
picked them up.
No.
Okay, so I pulled up the zodiac signs of elements.
Okay.
Earth is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Water is Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. Air is Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini.
Okay.
Fire is Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries.
Does he give the months next to it or no?
It does not, but I
Okay.
can find your.
I just want to see August. August, which zodiac sign is that? August zodiac sign is Leo and Virgo. And what did you say Leo and Virgo was? Well, actually, it would be. I'm sorry, it's Leo.
You would have to pick one because there's.
Right. There's 2 per month. It would be Leo. What was Leo?
Leo is a fire sign.
Okay, here's an interesting thing. All 3 of them are Leos. Because ironically, all 3 of them, their birthdays are 3 days apart from each other, which I thought was very, very strange. All 3 of them are Leos. She was saying water would be your protection. If they're fire signs, what's the opposite of fire?
You use water to put out fire.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So that is giving me chills now. That's giving me chills.
Miss Valerie said, so we are both air.
My mother is Libra. So she's Libra's air, you said?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm air, she's an air sign. That makes, now that freaks me out. That makes so much sense because she instantly, and she didn't know their birthdays. She just said to me, she said, water is going to be your protection. All 3 of them are fire signs.
Okay.
That's why I said, what is August? Because they're August birthday babies.
I'm a water sign. I'm a Pisces.
I'm scared.
And I would love to be able to control water. But instead, I'm scared of it.
Afraid of water.
I am.
Maybe that's something you need to try to overcome.
Certain water, not all water, just lakes and ocean.
Well, lakes
rivers, anything I can't see my feet.
Yeah, that's creepy. So a pool is fine for you?
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you swim or you can't swim?
I'm not a strong swimmer.
Okay. All right. So something, you start out, if you can't see, I will tell you, lakes and rivers that are like cloudy and disgusting and green and you can't see your feet, I would be afraid of those too.
We will talk about my fear of water during our mermaid session.
Perfect. We're going to save her fear of water on that. If anybody's in the chat and has any like questions, comments, or think they could decipher what our stories are about, please throw it in because we're delving deep into our I don't even know how to describe this. We're delving deep into our personal lives and sharing stories that's probably making us look nuts. But you know something? I know what I saw. That's all I have to say. I know what I saw.
I got a story for you. Actually, a house that I lived in.
Okay, let's hear it because I did, like I said, goosebumps.
So there was a house I lived in with when my son was a year. I was pregnant with my daughter. My kids are 18 months apart. Okay. And this house, it was a 3-bedroom house, 1.5 bath, upstairs, downstairs, basement. And I loved the house. It was a townhouse. So the people next door I became really good friends with. They were awesome. And she was a single mom as well. And so anyway, there was something off with the house. I love the house, but there was something off with it. And me being pregnant, it was interesting. I used to collect crystal, real crystal, and I have it up on shelves on the wall, and it would go flying off the shelves and break. Now, I have a 1-year-old and I'm like, well, I had to pack it up, what was left away, make sure all the glass was picked up because I didn't want him to get hurt. I didn't want to get hurt either, I'm being pregnant and everything. And one incident that happened there was I would go in the basement, do wash. So you had to go down the stairs, then you had to turn around the stairs, and you had to walk to the back of the basement, do your laundry. And I always felt like something was staring at me or like watching me, staring. And it wasn't a good feeling. It wasn't a good feeling at all. So I'm like, hurry up, do my laundry, switch it over, run back upstairs. And we had a young lady with long hair. It was light colored hair. It could have been like a light red or just a light brown. I'm shade colorblind, so sometimes shades really throw me off. So, but I knew it was light colored hair. And she would stand in front of the kitchen sink and just look out the window. And I always used to jokingly tell her, you can wash the dishes if you feel like it since you're standing there, Yeah, no big deal. She wasn't the one that I didn't get anything negative from her bouncing off of her. She just felt sad. And okay, no big deal. Well, there was one time where I was pregnant and I laid my son down for a nap. Now, the bedroom doors were those hollow, cheap doors that you get. Well, I had been telling a friend of ours, a friend of mine actually, about the weird stuff that was going on in the house. So they got me 3 bottles of holy water, 1 for each level. And I always had it where I could grab it quick if I needed it. The main floor, it was in the kitchen. And then upstairs, it was in the closet by the bathroom, right next to my son's bedroom. So I lay him down. I go downstairs, and my foot hits the second step to go downstairs. And my son's bedroom door slams shut. I'm like, what the hell? And he starts screaming bloody murder.
Oh, that's like something right out of a scary movie.
I'm like, what is going on?
It was one of those things you tried to open it and the door's not opening.
I turned nothing. I couldn't open the door. I took my shoulder and I slammed. I should have gone through that door, but I slammed my shoulder into there, yelling at myself, I'm coming, baby. Hold on, I'm coming. And it felt like I was hitting solid oak.
Wow.
Thick. And it hurt. And I kept doing it. I think I did it like 4 or 5 times, and he's screaming worse than he was, each time. And I'm like, So I turn, I open up the closet door, I grab that holy water, and all of a sudden the bedroom door opens wide up. As soon as my hand touched that bottle.
Wow. And did he stop screaming, or he was still screaming?
As soon as that door opened, he had tears still coming down. And he was breathing kind of funny. So I was like, I ran in and I scooped him up with the holy water still in my hand. I scooped him up. I turned. Now, his bedroom closet doors were broke. We didn't use the closet because we couldn't get them open. They were jammed. His closet door was wide open.
That's creepy.
I have no idea how it opened because they were closed. We'd never been able to open them. So why was it all of a sudden open?
You gotta like douse everything with holy water and
Yeah, well, hold on. So I have the holy water. I have him in my arms. I run outside and I'm on the phone because I have my phone on me. I called my friend that I was talking to that gave me the holy water. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but something just held my son hostage in his bedroom. I couldn't get the door open, and I had a nice bruise from where had been slamming into the door trying to get to him. And they're like, "We'll be right there. Don't go back in the house."
yeah, stay
No
outside.
problem. This was during the day, middle of the day. Like,
Stay outside.
no problem. Dude, we're good. I ain't going back in that house. And they came over. They walked in. It was summer. We didn't have AC. Windows were open, but it was cold in the house.
Wow.
Like, really cold.
And I'm sorry for coughing. I keep
No, you're fine. You're fine. And so they came through and they did like the 3 crosses above each doorway and every window. And then they called some paranormal group in Wisconsin
Oh, cool.
and told them, we need you to come to this house immediately. It's like, okay.
Did they bring
Not a
their
problem.
equipment and stuff?
In the meantime, I was talking to a friend of mine that I went to high school with, and at the time, he was good with computers and stuff, and we were talking, and I was telling him what was going on. And of course, I thought I was safe with the crosses, above, with holy water crosses above all the windows and doors and stuff like that. Things seemed to like calm down a little bit. So I was on the phone with him. I was telling him about what was going on. So he's like, well, what's your address? So I gave him my address. I hear, what the hell? I'm like, what do you mean, what the hell? He's like, that address is a cemetery. I said, no, it's not. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 12 houses on this block. We are not a cemetery.
They built it over a cemetery?
Don't know. As soon as he said, that address is a cemetery, his computer malfunctioned and he could not turn it on. He had to go buy a new computer.
That's creepy.
Yep. And I'm like,
please tell me you moved out of there like right away.
Yeah, we moved. Well, the paranormal people came like the next day after I was talking to him.
Oh, and they bring like all their equipment and stuff like
days, that, to get situated and come and stuff like that. And so I think it was like 3 or 4 days later, they come into the house. It's 3 men.
Okay.
I'm like, well, damn, this is going to be interesting. And I tell them the stuff. I show them, the different areas that we were having issues, that things were going on. Okay. Right. I told them about the basement. And somewhere I have the EVPs. They recorded the EVPs on a disc and gave it to me.
Wow.
So, of course, there are 3 men coming in the house. We have the sad woman in the kitchen, whatever's upstairs, the thing in the basement, and I'm like, be careful, so we step outside while they're doing their investigation. And the kid's aunt comes in, picks up Joseph, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I'm pregnant and I have nowhere to go. So I just kind of sat and waited outside. No big deal. It was a nice night, and they do their thing and they wrap up and they come out and they're like, well, there was some, but we're not sure if we got it on video or recording or anything. I'm like, okay. So less than a week goes by and I get a call from them. Can we meet up?
Sure. Uh-oh. They found stuff.
Your house. We're coming to your house. I'm like, okay, we'll be there in an hour. I'm like, oh, that serious? I'm like, holy crap. Okay. They go over the evidence with me.
Uh-oh.
One of the guys was standing in what would be my daughter's room, looking towards the bathroom, because the bathroom, when you went up the stairs, right away to your left or to your right was the closet, the bathroom, and then Joey's room. And then as you turn the little corner, there's what would be Jasmine's room and then my room at the end of the hall. He said he was standing in front of Jasmine's room, or the baby room is what he said, because it was Jasmine's room. And he says, I feel this breeze go across my ear. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, it was weird, but I was recording because I was trying to talk to whatever was going on in your son's room, but I wanted to go out in the hall. They play the EVP. It's a woman telling him to take his clothes off. I'm like, well, I know a woman didn't do the whole door thing.
Okay, people, how many of you are getting chills right now? Because, like, I'm getting.
And I'm like, so I guess what had happened, I mean, they had some other footage.
Okay, so is this the reason why we hear nothing about this story on one of those ghost hunting shows? Because they are embarrassed to say that the ghost told him to take off his clothes.
Probably. They played it, and I'm like, because you could hear her breathing in his ear. Yeah. Like, it was like, that kind of thing.
And then take off your clothes.
And then take off your clothes. And it was clear as day, and I'm like,
holy.
Okay, well, I guess the ghost likes you. You can take him home with you, and you can take her home with you. And they got some other stuff like things moving.
I know there are people out there listening. I mean, come on. You have to tell me, is this not a great story? I want to hear like the afterthoughts.
I'll have to see if I can find the disc. But it has been my son's 18 now, and he was a year. So it's been like 17 years. I don't know if I even still have the disc. But yeah, it was crazy. And we ended up moving shortly after that because I wasn't comfortable in the basement. And then with the situation with the door with Joey, and I was just like, I had been pushed down the stairs when I was 4 months pregnant.
You were pregnant when you moved into that house, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I always wondered if there is a correlation between pregnancy or children and ghost phenomenon.
Well, they do say that children up to the age of 8 have the ability to see the other world.
And I almost feel like, I mean, okay, depending on how you view pregnancy and how you view what a child is inside the womb, I always wonder if, like, the whole cycle of life, pregnancy, I always wonder if it opens up some sort of spiritual realm which could allow entities in and out of, like, going from one dimension to another, or one plane to another plane, simply because of that spark of life that happens within an individual. And I've always wondered, because children do have an innate ability to have psychic abilities. Same thing with the cats. Like, when the cats are staring at something, you better pay attention, because they're seeing something that we can't see.
Same with dogs. Dogs will alert you if there is something around. Birds. My birds get spooked, and it'll be in the middle of the night, and there'll be no reason why they would get spooked, but they get spooked, and all of a sudden you'll start hearing them flying around in their cage at night, and it's like, calm down, it's all right, and you're just like, mentally you're like, leave them alone, they're birds. There's no, you don't need to be messing with them.
Poor Mr. Pickles. I think of him getting scared.
Well, Mr. Pickles, not so much. Like, it doesn't affect him here or there. It's the little birds or parakeets that are the ones that are affected. Mr. Pickles is a spicy pickle, as Mary calls him. And he can be a jerk. So they probably don't even appear to him, So I don't know. I think it's weird. I think that, people experience things with the way that they're supposed to experience it, and there are a lot of stories and a lot of stories that you can't prove scientifically, but then there's also experiences where it very much can be um, proven that it's this or that. So it it's just all in what you believe and how you believe it. You know, I grew up in a household that, you know, ghosts weren't, it wasn't a bad word. Spirits weren't a bad word. Would you get picked on? Yes, of course, you know. But
Hi, Christina. She's like, she's doing a hi and bye. I know this isn't your alley, but thank you so much for supporting us. We appreciate it.
hi.
She's like, hi and bye.
So it just all depends. I mean, getting picked on, it's no big deal. You either can take it or you can't, you know. In my household, I just continued the tradition, you know, because of things I've seen in my life, things I've experienced in my life. I do believe that we do have ghost spirits and stuff like that. And
Absolutely. Valerie says when we lived in the haunted house, the dogs would bark at something in the kitchen and back up at the same time. Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
said. Animals absolutely will see things. And
hmm,
it's almost like, in fact, that's one of the scary stories. If anybody's listened to my 2 minute scary stories, I have one lined up in regards to animals that if they're staring at you, but they're not really staring at you, they're staring through you because they're looking at something that's creepy.
yep.
Be like, la, 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 la,
Yeah, I have your I had it up the other day because I was gonna listen while I was doing some decals, making some decals, but and then I couldn't find it because it refreshed.
la. Well, I do a new posting every single day. And
Okay.
I'm already up to Monday now because I pre-records and I pre-record straight through till Monday. What it says, nonsense? Then how do you explain your own ghost experiences? What do you mean nonsense? We are explaining our own ghost experience, Sheldon. We've been talking about our own ghost experiences this whole time. So welcome to the show. Hello, Vi. Welcome to the show. So, like I said, this week we're talking about our ghost experiences. Next week we want to hear your stories. So definitely come back next week because we would love to hear whatever stories you guys have. So now I do have another story. Um, I feel like, okay, this has been a weird thing for me. Like, remember I said I see things on the side of the road? What makes it really weird for me is when I see images of people and crosses seem to be there as well. Like, you know how they have the crosses on the road where people have died? A lot of times I will see remnants of people, and it's people that shouldn't be on the side of the road. And it always makes me wonder if the crosses that are in the road are of the people that are on the side of the road just standing there for no reason at all. And they're never interacting with everyone. They're always like looking off into space as if they're confused. They're not necessarily looking anybody in the eye. They're not necessarily like moving. They're just standing there. And it freaks me out. It's like, why the hell are these people standing on the side of the road? So it often makes me wonder, are they ghosts? Is it just a figment of my imagination? Is it a remnant of that person who died at that spot? So I don't know. Why is it you only see crosses on the road? Are Jewish folk better drive? Okay, I gotta highlight that. Oh my god.
Oh, welcome in, Dwayne. You know he was gonna
Okay.
make his presence.
I should not say this. Okay, I should not say this, but I'm going to say this and I'm going to be polite about it. Down here in Texas, there are a lot more people who believe in the cross. Okay, because I'm in the Bible Belt, so that'll answer here. Why other people? Oh yes, she lives in the Bible Belt, so that's exactly what the reason is. However, um, I'm trying to think because in New York, a lot of Jewish people they have their shivas where they disappear for a month on hand when there's a funeral, but they didn't necessarily drive because in New York, everybody takes the subway. So you wouldn't necessarily see. I'm getting myself in trouble. I shouldn't even be talking about. But no, seriously. I mean, I'm trying to think. It's like in the New York population, which is a very large Jewish population, like we're talking about, like not many Star of Davids on the roadside. I think it'll. I think it depends on demographics and where you're located. In the Bible Belt, I think it would be very odd to see a Star of David on the roadside. I really do.
We have, like in our area, like we have crosses up on the side of the road where people have passed on. Some of them look pretty old too.
Oh, did I lose you? Okay, so
I'm here.
okay, yeah. There's not many, but then again, I've also seen like not only crosses, I've seen just general memory. Like I'll see like lots of flowers. Sometimes they put balloons and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if those type of memorials are more non-denominational, like they would be more depending on what religion. Because I mean, I don't know that Dwayne. That's a very, very good question. It really is. Texans would place a crucifix at an accident scene, regardless of the faith of the victim. Just their way of showing support. Absolutely. I will say something weird. When I first came here to Texas, and I'm curious if this is anybody in another state. When I first came to Texas, I never realized how important a funeral procession was here. When there's an actual funeral procession, what ends up happening, and this is no joke, the cars will go to the side of the road, they will stop, men will come out, they will take off their hats, and they will like salute when there's a funeral procession. Not in New York. New York, they will cut through the line. They try to race to get ahead. They don't care whether there's a funeral procession or not. So I'm curious, how do other people act in these type of things? Because I've never seen anything like it until I came in. And I even had a conversation with like some Texans, and they think I'm crazy. They're like, they do that in New York. I'm like, they don't give a damn about funerals. Who cares? It's like funerals are actually a it's a problem. It's a bothersome. So yeah, even Valerie says so true. That's what happens in New York. I'm curious if that happens in other states.
I guess it depends on where you are. A lot of times, people get frustrated, you know, because there's a funeral going through. However, at the same time, it's not, you know, a lot of people will, pull over, or they'll wait. They'll be patient and wait. At least that's my experience. So I don't know. Dwayne says here you are expected to stop and pull over for the whole procession. Never heard of the men getting out. I have seen that though, videos of where people have gotten out of their cars. I didn't realize that it was in Texas. I know.
Hi Lisa, welcome to the show.
I know it also depends on if you're in the country or in the city as well.
And I've seen this both in the city and outside the city. Like this isn't something on like backwards. This has been in main cities as well. When there's a funeral procession, it's like just as important as an ambulance going through. People will park to the side of the road, let it go through, and
yeah, I wish that people respected fire trucks and ambulances and stuff, because nobody pulls over around here. Nobody. And it's frustrating. And it's our law. You know, you're supposed to pull over for emergency vehicles. So, yeah. And I know, like, in some areas, too, in Wisconsin, like, I remember in Clintonville, where I grew up, they would block the road, depending on, you know, they'd block off two sides so that, you know, whichever direction they were going, they would block off the other side, and so that nobody could get through on like the intersections and stuff. So
Dwayne asked a very interesting question. Do you feel that the memorials to the fallen hold the spirits at that site? I'm going to say yes, simply because too many times I have seen people next to, and I'm talking about like confused people. I'm not talking about somebody going there to visit a memorial and showing their respects. You can tell there's a difference between somebody paying respects to a memorial and somebody who is standing next to a memorial, confused out of their mind, and looks like they shouldn't even be there. And I don't know why I see that every now and then, but it freaks me out that when I see that on the side of the road, that I'm seeing people that should not be on the side of the road. So it kind of scares me. So I do believe that it does hold the spirits.
I would have to say I agree, because if anybody who passes away violently, you're kind of stuck in limbo until you're able to be redirected. Till either whatever happened to you is completely solved, or whatever the story is behind it, or until somebody comes up and is like, hey, you need to go to the light, and helps them go to the light. But a lot of times when it's violent in some form, they just don't have that ability to go. So
Maybe somebody could remind me of that movie, but it was with Robert Downey Jr. Before he did Iron Man, where he was the ghost. Oh man, that's gonna drive me crazy. He ended up getting killed, and they were all ghosts. They were supposed to move on. Oh god, okay. I gotta see which one what movie that is. Heart and Souls. Okay, I just looked it up. It's called Heart and Souls with
okay.
it's a 1993 movie, so it's an old movie. Like I said, it was before he did Iron Man and stuff like that. That is a really good movie in regards to like ghosts and spirits.
What year was that?
93.
All right.
And it's called Heart and Souls. I couldn't think of the name of the movie, but I knew Robert Downey Jr. was in it. So yes, we were talking about that early. Spirit ghosts don't know that they're dead, but spirits do. That's one of the difference between a ghost and a spirit. And spirits don't necessarily have to be ghosts. Spirits can be totally different entities that were never dead to begin with. What do we have? My daughter believes we have a presence in the house we're in, turning on and off the lights. A new granddaughter talking to the corner as if talking to a person. If you don't mind me asking, how old is the granddaughter?
She's a baby.
Oh, she's a baby. Okay, because this ties into what you were saying. I really believe, like, the whole idea with like kids with imaginary friends and kids with I really believe that they're talking to someone 9 months old. So she's talking.
Yeah, I don't like imaginary friends. Thank you. Drop Dead Fred was not in our house.
That's a great movie. I love Drop Dead Fred. If nobody has ever seen Drop Dead Fred, go. That's another movie to watch. We have to like write all these movies down. So you got Heart and Souls and Drop Dead Fred.
The imaginary friend that Jaslyn had growing up.
Oh,
nope.
It's creepy?
Nope.
Was it like a creepy one or was it a normal one? Like I get freaked out.
Sister.
I'm sorry?
Her name was Sister.
Her name was Sister. Okay.
And she didn't like me. I kept telling Jasmine that
you killed her.
No,
okay. No, because that was the video I just did. I did a video on that where it's like your mommy.
She didn't say nice things about me. We'll just put it up there.
I'll be like, Des, you just are repeating a video that I just did. Okay, if anybody wants to know what I'm talking about, I do 3-minute spooky videos where basically I tell a creepy story. The imaginary friend moved out and Des. I do creepy stories, and this is no joke. Just the other day, I did a story about a little girl that's talking to her sister and basically says that, like, you don't have a sister because mommy killed her. Like, and they're like, mommy killed me. I'm like, Okay, I'm sorry. It was a ghost.
No, that's fine. I mean,
that's why when you said that, I'm like, I
Really?
just did a story about this.
but she had like, I don't know, it was so weird because in school, the school knew she didn't have a sister, she had a brother.
Okay.
But she was so convincing that the school believed that she had an older sister.
Oh wow. But it was a complete imaginary friend.
I don't know. She was creepy, and
How old was she until she lost the imaginary friend?
Tommy, are you in here? I don't know. I heard him up and about. Started about maybe 3 or 4, and then she was like 8.
To get my wire.
No, I think she was like 8, which is that doorway to where the door shuts if you don't work with it.
Right.
Being able to see and spirits and stuff. So, yeah, I think she was like 8, and like I would be so creeped out by sister that I don't even know if I should be even mentioning the name anymore, because even though it's been many, many years, it was like you get that fear that they're gonna come back. And some of the things that, yeah, it was horrible. I was not comfortable during those years. Let's just say that.
I find children, when they have the ability to see things, hear things, talk to things, and when they say things that are just so out of the ordinary, it's the scariest thing. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
is. And I mean, as a parent, you want to be protective. You don't want anything to happen to your child. And yet here it is, they're connected to like the spirit world in some way because they're seeing things that we are unable to see. Hello, Myra, buying spaces in the house. Welcome to the show. So it's like, at some point, what is the catalyst that causes children to lose that ability where they can no longer communicate with the anomalies or the spiritual realm? There you go. Dwayne said it best. They typically say that as the child ages, the veil closes.
Yep, and that veil is completely closed by the age of 8 years old unless they're worked with to keep it open.
However, for whatever reason, I do believe that certain things will allow that veil to open up, such as maybe a near-death experience, a tragedy, accident, exactly.
Lightning.
And I mean, I often wonder because, I mean, I shouldn't say this, but I feel like there was a few times in my life that I should have been dead. And it makes me wonder that each time something like this happens that I've experienced close to death experience, is that opening up a veil that I never knew I covered. Trauma. Yes, trauma will definitely do it.
Yeah, and I know that like certain people, every person is different when it comes to opening that veil up. There's tricks you can do to open it up, but you have to honestly really want to experience it, because once the veil's open, it's very hard to close it again.
Yeah.
Very hard. So you have to be very fully prepared, because the things that you'll see probably don't want to see.
Yeah. And I mean, I also have a question in regards to, oh, he's like, what's up, Myra? I also have a question on how certain illnesses or certain medications, I know we talked about this in the past. It's one of my crazy theories, but as of right now, more and more and more people are autistic. So statistically speaking, you look back like 20 years ago, maybe it was 1 out of every 500 people. Now it's currently 1 out of every 3 people will be diagnosed with autism. And it's that high now. I really, really believe that that's the next evolution of where humans are going to, that they're going to have that sort of mentality. Not that it's a bad thing, because when it comes to autism, they can be geniuses.
Mhm.
But
Yep. Dwayne's son is autistic, but when we were down there, he was awesome. I would have never known unless they had told me.
and I'm not looking down on autism. What I'm saying is
Mhm.
I find it very, very interesting how an autistic mind looks at things much differently than how I hate to use the word normal, but how an everyday person would understand. So because of that, I often wonder, is that the evolution of how, and that's the next step, and how in tuned are they to the different dimensional planes, the spiritual versus the physical, and
Yeah, because they and Dwayne can literally um
we have a
say
better
yes or no.
understanding. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We have a better understanding of what autism is now. Before it was simply that kid ain't right.
Yeah, the new normal is neotypical.
Neurotypical.
No, okay. Yeah, I mean, most people who are autistic, from my experiences, they don't have the filters. They just say how it is. And if that's what they're seeing, they're going to tell you. They're not going to sugarcoat it. They're not going to be like, okay, cover it up. They'll be 100% honest. And so,
Yeah, and like I said, I often wonder if there is a correlation between how they process, and I'm talking about the different levels. I mean, you could have high functioning all the way down to the nonverbal non-functioning. And I've always wondered, like, what is their attunement to the unknown or to the supernatural or to the paranormal? The sky, Dwayne. Sky.
yeah, I'm a
Oh,
little.
that's what it is. Dwayne said, "What's up, Myra?" And she's like, "The sky."
Oh,
Now I'm
okay.
getting it. Dwayne,
Dwayne said, my
my,
son was about 6 years old, and some said
something
something.
sarcastic.
Yep, and he said, "Is that sarcasm? Then I don't believe in sarcasm." I did say that right, right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Huh.
So he said it anyway, but then he's questioning whether it's sarcasm or not. But
So
the
his
question is,
question.
did he
Okay.
understand? Did he understand eventually that what he said was sarcasm? Because that's just it. We could also interpret it as sarcasm, and they could just be matter of fact that that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I have found with people that I know with autism, they are brutally honest. There is,
Mm-hmm.
like you even said, there is no filter. So if they don't like something, they will flat out say, "No, I don't like that."
I would rather have somebody say that to me than to sugarcoat it, And I mean, we had a blast when we were down by Dwayne and his family. It was said. Oh, it was said
Oh,
to
it was said to
him.
him.
He
Okay, I
asked if it was
misunderstood. I thought he
sarcastic.
said something.
Yeah, that
Okay,
makes
I get
more
it.
sense.
He was
Yeah,
6 year old, and someone said something sarcastic to him. Okay, that's where I missed. We missed the word "someone."
yeah, we had a blast. You would never know, with Jeremy, and I wasn't sure if I should say his name, but then Dwayne put his name in the chat just out of respect. Jeremy's a sweetheart, and would have never guessed.
Oh, I guess he wasn't supposed to say Jeremy.
Well,
Sorry.
nice to meet you. I'm sorry. Well, he put it in chat, so I wasn't sure.
It's all right. It's all right. We can bleep that out if we need to later on. I
Yeah,
guess.
just let us know.
Yeah.
Uh, wow, hour and 40 minutes. Holy wow. So
Well,
are you all ready? We have 12 people in the chat. That is awesome. Just doesn't do well in social situations.
that's a commonality that
Yeah.
they don't do good in social situations because it's the anxiety of being. It's too peoply. He's 22 years old.
He will get over it. I am not worried. He is 22.
I honestly, I don't think he'll get. It's not that he'll get over it. Maybe in social situations things might get easier for him, but there'll always be the high anxiety about that.
Wait, 24. Did you lose a few years there, Dwayne?
And it even affects when there's too much pressure. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we've been going on now. We've been wanting to do these shows for about 2 hours. So I guess yeah, we are. Does anybody have any comments, questions, things? Because like I said, next week we want to hear your stories. So we shared some of our personal stories.
Okay, so he clarified. He's like, no, I mean, get over his name being mentioned.
Oh, okay. We thought you meant get over the social situation. So that was my mistake.
We got confused.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dwayne.
We just completely messed up what Dwayne is talking about. I'm sorry, because we both looked at it the same way.
Yeah, I just because it went just doesn't do well in social situations, and then he said he will get over it. That's how I read it.
Yeah,
and I'm sure there was something mentioned.
Yeah, that's how I read it. I read he doesn't do well, but he'll get over it. So I read that incorrectly as well. I don't know if anybody saw, but on my page, on my channel, I can't talk. On my channel, I have listed the next couple of weeks. Now, I don't have my notes with me, but some of the shows that we're having, I don't know if Des has it, we're going to be talking about Easter. We're going to be talking about the moon landing. We're going to be talking about mermaids and sirens. She has the exact list. I'm trying to do it from my head.
All right.
To answer this question, so are people supposed to send you stories or experiences for you to read for next week? Yes, they could send us stories. We can invite them on if they actually want to talk about it. Like we could give you the link. You could come and invite on. You can tell the story within the chat. It's whatever you would like to do. Because some people don't want to. Some people don't want to be face to face. That's fine. You can even do it anonymous. If you send either myself or Des an email, you could write. We could read the story out loud, and we won't tell who it is. So we're leaving it open to the rest. We just want to hear your stories. If not, I could always bring more stories about the haunted place. I could bring more stories about the ghost on the side of the road. Or if you want to hear more about the bringer of death and the spider queen, I've got plenty of stories about them.
All right, I'm dropping Melanie's email address in the chat. And then I am going to, if I can spell.
Thank you. I would have put it in, but you got it.
I'll put in my email as well. You can email either one of us. You can let us know if you want your name used or if you want to remain anonymous and share your story with us, and we will read it.
And like I said, we'll even invite you in the back room
if you
want to come.
That's awesome.
Oh, will she? Yes. And like I said, awesome. If she wants to go live, we can go live as well. I will send the link. I can have up to 12 people on.
Yeah. So tell her to be ready next week because we'll send you the link, Dwayne, and she can come on with us. And she can share her experiences.
And I think that'll be fun because, like I said, we shared our experiences. We want this to be as interactive as possible, and we're doing this each and every week. So that's why I said if you have a favorite topic, and we will even take requests on what topics you want to do. I'm looking forward to the Easter topic, which I feel like that's going to get me in so trouble. It really is because we're doing it right before Easter.
We'll pray. All right.
I just feel like that's going to get me in trouble.
It might, but we'll try to go through it before we go live.
As we said, and I forgot to do my disclaimer, as we've always said, this is the type of show that will review various opinions. It does cross over various religions. It does. Already it started. I'm am not even going to say anything. I'm just going to leave it up there. But yes, we are not trying to offend any religion. We're not trying to offend any personal views. All we try to do is we talk about how there are various views and various opinions out there.
Yeah.
And what we say doesn't necessarily reflect our own personal views. We decided to make this particular show our personal stories. We are doing shows that aren't necessarily our views at all.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to share different opinions out there. The topic next week, Myra, is going to be on your stories of ghosts and spirits. But on the weekend of Easter, that Thursday, we're going to be discussing origins of Easter.
Okay.
And we're taking it from all different perspectives.
I have the list.
You have the list. Oh, you have. Oh, okay. You want to read the list then? She's going to read the list. So,
make sure you pick the spot for the burning cross.
No, that's bad. No, we're not burning crosses.
Oh boy. All right. So next week, March 21st, we have part 2 of Ghosts/Spirits and the differences and our own personal experience. But next week, it'll be part 2 and it'll be y'all's personal experiences. And y'all are all invited. Like Mel said, you can come up on the live with us. You can email us your stories. We will read those. You got to let us know if you want to be stay anonymous, or if you'd like your name included as well. March 28th, Easter origins.
From all different perspectives, we're bringing every single religious perspective of what Easter is. So that's going to be an interesting thing, considering a lot of people don't necessarily know the different religious perspectives on Easter. So we're going to bring that in. That's going to be a very educational one. And it also might be a tough one for a lot of people to explore.
Work with, or listen to, yep. Mm-hmm. April 4th, the eclipse.
And we have to do that because April 8th is the eclipse. So on April 4th, we're doing, yes, that is correct, Dwayne.
I don't know what that is.
That's Easter. That's one of the original Easters.
Oh.
Yep. So yes, we're going to be exploring that.
Let me write this down because I want to.
It's also spelled without the E as well. So depending on which
okay.
Which group you follow.
Okay. Sounds good. I wrote it down so I have it. April 4th. April 4th is the eclipse. April 11th, we will be talking about mermaids and sirens, part 1. April 18th, we'll be talking about the Bermuda Triangle and mermaids and sirens, part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said ley lines.
Oh, that was just a note to look at the ley lines. That's something that's an aside. That's not a topic.
Okay. So, well, no, it was with the Bermuda Triangle topic. So, April 25th, Disney. May 2nd, fairy tales. Grimm/Disney. So, we're going to talk about how they originally were to how they transformed into the Disney topics that became the soft fairy tales.
Mm-hmm.
May 9th, moon landing.
Moon landing, yes. I love it. It's
this
fake.
one will be interesting for me. Moon landing will be interesting.
I'm on team fake. So I'll tell you that right now. Moon landing, I'll be on team fake. I think you're on team it happened, or are you on team fake?
Oh, I don't really know much about it other than in the 60s we landed on the moon. I know like little bits and pieces, but I've never really sat down and like.
Oh, I will be ranting and raving how the moon landing is fake. I'm sorry.
Is that personal or is that?
Oh, that's totally personal. I will admit the moon landing is fake.
Okay. Now we have to come up with May 16th. Do you have any? Do you have any?
Yeah, if anybody has any any ideas on what we would like to do. I mean, obviously we're going out for we've gone out all the way up to May right now, so we don't need to pick it now. But if there is a topic that you guys would like to hear, put it in the chat or contact us privately, because I just can't. I'm waiting for the zombie Jesus to come out. God. Oh my God, this is going to be a bad topic. No, it's not going to be a bad topic. It's going to be an interesting one. And that's exactly what we're going to be discussing. We're going to be looking at it from all. There you go. How about some of the urban myths? Chupacabra, the Yeti, the Nessie.
All right. So
That's
should
a
we
great
do
one.
urban myths? Urban myths.
Yes.
All right. So urban myths it is for May 16th.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, we can like talk about some of them, and then we can actually break it down further and talk about each individual one separately.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a good one. Thank you. We'll write that in.
Heck yeah.
So does anybody else have any? Like I said, we want to try to keep these at 2 hours. We're coming up to the 2 hour mark. First of all, we want to thank everybody for coming. This was a great topic. I hope you enjoyed some of our spooky stories. I know Des gave me the chills on some of her stories. I don't know if I gave you chills. All I know is I worked in a haunted place, and with balls bouncing and phones flying and weird old men just appearing out of nowhere. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. Those, I have plenty more stories.
Yeah.
But some, you just have to ask me a message. Message me and ask. Because I do have a lot. So
we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that next week we hear your stories. That's what I want to hear. We want to hear your stories. So like I said, if you don't want to give your name, if you want to remain anonymous, you can write to us. Or if you want to come on, we'll have you on and you could be part of the topic just like this. But it's going to be a fun time and we're really looking forward to it.
Hold on 1 second. 3. I'm making sure I'm writing a note to send Dwayne the link next week.
Yes.
For his daughter.
We would love to have your daughter on, Dwayne. That would be great. All right, so I think, oh yes, I've totally forgot about that. Tell them about that. Here, let's put you front and center. Go for it.
All right, so we will soon have, I know we keep saying we're going to have them in our store. We will have them in the store. We will also have a couple other items. We have just been really busy and swamped, so we haven't had time to Dwayne, you threw me off. So we have been swamped, but we will get these in. But we are going to have tumblers, coffee mugs, and key rings with "Let's Get Chattin" with this design. And so we are working on that. Yes, you did. And just wanted to make sure you guys saw.
I love this. I mean, come on, look at that. You got Bigfoot, you've got the aliens, you've got the UFOs, you've got the Loch Ness Monster, the Flat Earth. I mean, all the conspiracies in one mug. The Sphinx. Is that the one with the special little surprise in it, or no?
No, not this one.
Oh, no.
Okay, so.
Tell them about that.
Okay, so what's going to happen is there will be a picture in here. If you order, be a mug or even a tumbler, there will be an extra picture or two in here. And so, oh yeah, crop circles. That's a good one. We got to write that down.
Crop circles, yes.
In your tumbler or your mug or your keychain, and each one will have, you have to figure out where that picture is or pictures. And it'll be a cool little extra surprise. So it will be included in the picture on your tumbler, on your coffee mug, or on your key ring.
I love it. All right. Well, let me bring us both back up. I think, is that the right one? Yeah, that's the right one.
Yep. And then I gotta write down crop circles because that's a good one too.
So, everyone, we want to thank you so much for attending. Like I said, our next show is going to be on Tuesday on Dej's channel, but I will also cross post it on my channel as well. But she is the main one, which we're going to be talking about mental health. So, it's an open mental health forum. That's going to be on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I'm going to be on Susanna's channel, and we're going to be doing a chit chat, which I'll also cross post on my channel as well. So you, if you want, you can see that. And then we're back on Thursday for another episode, but this time we're giving it to you of ghosts and spirits and your stories instead of our stories.
So I'm excited for next week because I want to hear everybody else's stories.
Yeah. Me too. And like I said, if you want, just send us an email. If you want to remain anonymous, that is fine. We just want to hear the stories. We want to hear the juice of the stories. We want to read them. We want to get spooked out, and we want to get all the little goosies that happen on our woo, I'm scared. And I do have to say, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, hit the little bell notifications, because aside from that, I do every day at 12 o'clock at noontime. I release another 3-minute, three sentence scary story, and some of them are really creepy.
Yeah, the first one I was like, oh, that was really kind of scary.
Some of them are not creepy, but they're creepy. So if you like very, very short, I mean, most of them are between 20 seconds to 40 seconds. They're not longer than a minute, but it's just a nice little I tell a scary story.
Right?
Hi, baby. No, I do not have a voice disguiser. Oh, you're talking about No, I don't. Hey, baby, stop. That's my hope. She's coming to say hi. Unfortunately, I do not have a voice disguiser. Yes, I also do positive pieces as well. Aw, see? He's giving me credit for that. I just wanted to talk about the scary ones because this is the spooky show. But every day I post a positive one as well. I call them the little sparks of light. Sparks of happiness.
And that's good. That's good.
Yes. So everyone, have a great night. Take care. We will see you next week. And have a good one. And sorry about my kitty cat.
Much love, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have love.